Hi, I'm Robert Rodriguez from Temple, Texas, and this is my micro-build city. To start out, we'll start out in the upper corner over here. This is like a yacht club and a marina area where there's like condos and shops, along with some sailboats and yachts that are parked in the docks. And then as we move towards the left, we have condos and office buildings. And this tower right here in front is one of my favorite ones. It's I call it a green tower because it's after some buildings in Milan, Italy. That's where I patterned them after. And I just liked it, and so what I did was I spiraled the trees around it, and just thought it was kind of cool. And right next to that is a small hotel, and then next to that is a building that's comes out of a rock, a big rock, So I thought, hey, why not? Moving closer to me, or closer to the center, I have a hospital, an office building, and a police station, which is the V-shaped building. And right in front of that is called the Lights of December, which is a sculpture in Colombia, in Medellin, Colombia, and it's only put up during Christmas time. And it's kind of like a pseudo-Christmas tree. And it was fascinating because when I actually made this, I actually made it for my wife, who's from Colombia. And the interesting thing was, when I built it and put it next to the city, it was almost to scale. So I was like, why not put it in my city? Next to that is a building that I call the museum, and it's modeled after a monument either in Paris or Berlin. And I don't remember the name of the monument, but I like the sculpture. So basically it's three triangles combined. The math was horrid. I tried to figure it all out, and I got it where it's shaped correctly. And over in the corner are hotels or like a hotel and what do you want to call it? Just another hotel resort. There you go. And over here on the far end is the golf course. And I did that because my niece plays golf, and I wanted to have a golf course. So it's only holes 1 and 18. So you got one leaving the resort and one coming back. And of course you have to have a beach. And so I put a beach in there. And then moving over here to the skyscrapers, the blue tower is called Daija Blue, and Daija is the name of a girl that was an architect from Venezuela, and she inspired me to do this one. And so it spirals.
I love that. If we can talk a little bit more about the design process on this tower, because it's so eye-catching, both the colors and then just the spiral technique. So how did you achieve that?
Well, how I achieved it is magic. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, what I did was I used turntables. And people asked me, is it only connected by one stud? And no, if it was connected by one stud, it would just collapse. Right next to that is the Sears Tower, and I call it actually, because it's now the Willis Tower, I named it Willie Green because it's green glass. And then, of course, King Kong is kind of hanging out there. Next to this, the purple tower is called the Jacaranda Tower. And Jacaranda apparently is a flower in Hawaii. And one of my friends says, hey, name it that. So I said Jacaranda Tower. And of course now I have another skyscraper in progress over here.
You got to have the construction site. There's always that.
Of course, in any city you have to have a construction site. And so you have that, and so it's all under construction. And then I have general office buildings, but the one that's multicolored over here, is like a little condo right in the middle of the city. And right next to that is a statue of some warrior out there for the city. Who knows? I just put it in there. I just thought it was cool. And then, of course, I'm a big sports fan, big baseball fan, so I have to have a baseball in the city. And what I wanted was home plate to view the skyline. So home plate is facing the skyscrapers. And then finally, I close out with a military base, kind of like a Air National Guard or Naval Station, and it's a helicopter base. And you have to have everything in the helicopter base. So not only do you have to have the flight line, but you also have the loading docks, the hangars, the control tower, and of course base housing here at the end. So yeah.
I love all the details and how you've really made this city grow. So is this based on any particular kind of real city, or this layout or anything like that, or you just kind of build individual sections and put them all together?
I actually just built individual sections and put them all together. In fact, the baseball stadium appeared last year at Brick Fiesta. But I wanted to have a little bit of everything in the city, So as I was working it, I just started saying, okay, well, I need this and I need that. And the hard part was putting the train, the elevated train that I have on there. And I actually have different trains on there just to simulate motion. And in Microscale, it's really hard to have everything in motion, of course. But I just wanted to have a little bit of everything. So, yeah.
And there really are a lot of great details. What are some of the challenges of building at this scale? I always find it really interesting with micro building and how you have to capture so much detail with so few pieces.
Well, what's hard is well, one, you have the concept or the idea of whatever it is you're building, but then you have to decide, well, how many pieces is it going to take, and is it going to be too big, or is it going to be too small, or is it going to be recognizable at that size? One thing I'd like to show is the helicopter. I'll bring out the helicopter here, and what it is you have 1x4 pieces, or blades, or propellers, 1x1 studs, and then a jumper here. So it's multiple pieces, but as you can see, it does look like a helicopter. And so when I came up with this, I was like, okay, it looks good. And then the cars were actually simple. I actually saw those in different cities, and I thought, what a simple concept. And I believe the cars came from the Minnesota lug, their Microscale design. So I was just like, okay, cool. And that's what this is. It's compatible with all of the Minnesota lug Microscale stuff.
You're able to get inspiration from other builders and other layouts.
Of course. What I wanted, though, for the city was to have every building different. And then the only one that are similar, of course, is the hospital complex, but it's a hospital complex. They all need to look alike. So, yeah, I wanted to try to do all that, and then a little bit of everything. But my favorite building, of course, I think is what I call the museum, which is the monument building. And that one took a lot of math as well. And then trying to find all the smoke glass or smoke black or translucent black pieces to do it, it was a challenge. It was a challenge.
What's setup like for this when you come to a show? Do you have all the buildings off of the base plates? Or?
No, actually it's real easy. In fact, you can see like this one section comes out real easy like that. And actually I had containers that were tall enough, except for the tallest skyscrapers. Those came in open bins. Everything else was closed bins. So they transported real easily. I live about an hour away from here, so it wasn't that bad at all. And no real damage or anything like that. Dyja Blue actually comes apart. So that one actually I took apart because it's easier to disassemble. So yeah, but everything else stayed the same.
No, that's what you like to hear. You don't want a ton of hassle when setting up.
Yeah, exactly. So actually setup for this was 30 minutes maybe. Once I got them out of the crates, I just put them where they needed to be. So yeah.
It's fantastic work. I love seeing the detailed micro cities like this. So I'm glad you were able to bring it all out to the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.